you know?
Who you know got their
Who you know got their own theme music? Hey! Hey! And this the first version. We got 2 versions.
Oh, okay.
What?
So I got multiple
What?
versions of the remix. I
What?
got a remix
No,
and original.
no,
They
no!
got features and songs.
No! Oh, you put some bass in that mother, bro. Bro, you put some bass in that thing. I hear you.
Here to serve.
Oh my God, not 2 versions. Not 2 versions. What's up, Pat? What else we got on there? What's up, Anisha Hill? What's up? If not, here's what to do. Take the part out. Ooh. Hey, son. What you think what I'm doing? That's it?
That's all you need. Same way it was last week.
All right, bro. All right, bro.
You like that. Let me do this. Let me do this. Give me that. Let me do this. We ain't going nowhere.
Hey, man, don't make me walk off the set. Don't make me walk off the set. Hey, man, what's up? Why the microphone ain't on, though?
You don't need no yet.
Man, I don't like it like this, man.
So then keep talking.
Ugh. I don't like it like
Loud
that.
as you talk, I'm guaranteed.
I don't like it like that. Man,
Don't worry about it. They live now.
I don't like it like that. Man, you never been like this, man. Got your nigga going. Just like that. Why is this microphone working in mine now, bro?
Go.
No, ain't no go, man. Why is this microphone working in mine now?
You can hear my microphone.
Why is this man, look, man, I done been on here.
What make you think your microphone ain't
Listen,
loud as you
man.
is?
Listen, Mike.
Look at Mike. Look
Listen,
at him,
Mike.
Mike. Look at him, Mike.
I don't want to have to talk to you and Sticky.
Look at him, Mike.
And you,
Look at
you and Sticky. Hey, man, if you and Sticky can't listen to my demo, man,
Look at him now.
I don't want to know.
We don't hear them on no Thursday. We don't listen on Thursday.
What are you doing?
Hey,
We don't listen on Thursday. What's the name?
Sticky, did you make a mistake and
What y'all doing, Mike?
drop my tape in the toilet? Is that a mistake? Man, what I tell you was some bull. Oh, DJ went on, bro. Good evening. This your host, YK Thompson Sr. Coming to you live from Lip Burn, Georgia. Where is that at?
Outside of Atlanta.
Way outside of Atlanta.
Everything outside of Atlanta.
Where? Yeah, that's a good one. Like North Carolina outside of Atlanta. Like that kind of outside of Atlanta. Where? South Carolina? Like that kind of outside of Atlanta?
No. It's just a
Don't say it, man. No, it's more than a stone's throw. Who can throw that far?
It ain't that far.
God dang.
Ain't that far.
Talk about lip burn. Man, we gonna start saying Atlanta. We just gonna tell them.
Tell them
They
Atlanta.
don't know we ain't in Atlanta. I'm gonna just say, good evening. Let me start over. Good evening. I'm your host, YK Thompson Sr. Coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia.
By way of Liburn.
No, man, don't say that. They won't know. Just stay Atlanta, bro. Go on the A.
Say it now.
Stay Atlanta, man. Stay Atlanta. Hey, why you gonna mess it up? We coming to you live from Atlanta.
See?
I can't even get it right. We can't even lie like, oh, shoot, man.
We're coming live from close enough to Atlanta. You heard?
Yeah.
Hey, hold on, man. I ain't even introduced you yet. How you gonna start? Don't start talking to the mic.
Well,
Hold on, bro.
You carrying on.
God.
I'm waiting on you.
Hey, man,
I'm sitting here waiting on
who
you.
brought the guests in, man? Man, wait a minute.
Hey, I wanna-
Hey, wait a minute,
I ain't know
man.
you had a guest.
Cut. Time out. Cut,
I
man.
ain't know you had a guest. He was just-
I ain't know who it is. How you get on there? I thought you invited this joker.
You don't know him? I don't
Hey,
know.
bro, who you with?
Who are you?
How you get in here?
What's your name?
Where you from?
Who brought you here?
What's your name? Where
That's
you
perfect.
from?
That's perfect. Hello, everybody. My name is Cortland Mallory, but everybody knows me by Justice, actually.
Justice?
Yeah, I come from Albany, New York, actually.
No,
I'm a
we're
Morehouse
actually-
graduate from 2019.
Boo!
Robert Smith.
My way
Boo!
We don't like Morehouse around here?
Boo! Oh, Morehouse? I love Morehouse. I thought you said something else. I'm sorry.
Oh, my bad.
All right, clap. He went to Morehouse.
Dang.
He went to Morehouse. He didn't say he went to Howard.
Hey.
Hey, he went to Morehouse, y'all. The Tigers. I thought that's what y'all do when y'all say that, man. I thought y'all do it.
Nah,
It sounds like
that,
a
Y'all don't do that?
nah, we,
Sound like
What's
a
y'all
pussycat.
mascot? Y'all the Tigers?
we are the Tigers, yeah.
Y'all look like. Y'all don't do this?
No.
I think so, man.
The Tigers or alley cats? Which
For the
one?
house. It's for the house.
Okay.
Okay. You see how I went quiet? You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
They don't know what they're talking about. Ain't nobody
But
worried.
no, man, hey, this my guy. This my guy, man. This is brilliant young man. I wanted to bring him on the show. Had him on the show. He was actually a guest on my TV show, man. It's upcoming. It's premiering this Sunday on the AIB TV network. So I'm gonna put that out there. Put that in the chat, man. This Sunday, 9:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're gonna premiere. We got 9 episodes coming up this season. This brother and his friend Jordan Blackwell, they was one of the episodes that we did on almost like kind of like Where Are They Now? Because everybody heard about, you know, the Morehouse graduates of 2019 having all. Listen to this, man. It just hurt me. I mean, it don't hurt me. I'm excited.
What time?
Huh?
What time?
9:30. Man, what's up with these people? Y'all can't remember numbers and
9:30 to 11.
9:30 to 10 o'clock,
That's what
bruh.
Coach said.
Dang.
You can't remember
Jeez.
numbers.
Jeez, guys.
We didn't go to Howard.
No, I know y'all didn't go to Howard. Because if y'all went to Howard, y'all would know 9:30 to 10 o'clock.
I would've
AIB,
got all my
Comcast,
phones.
channel
We got all
2,
A's, man. We
Comcast,
got all
channel 295, AT&T, Uverse, channel 6. I can always remember that because I'm the 6th dog. Channel 6, and if you're not in Georgia, you can go to AIBTV.com and stream it live. Bro. The show is, hey, we making history over here. This is on the level of, this is like when Soul Train first came out, right? This is like when Soul Train came out, Flip Wilson came out, the Robert Townsend Show when it first came out. This is In Living Color when it first came out. So, and the 9 episodes that we have, man, are the guests, incredible. I'm talking about, man, the Morehouse segment we did, incredible. The one we got coming up Sunday, incredible. The one we have with Beat Monster Mark, one of the biggest producers in the game. I'm talking about he doing stuff with Rihanna, Kevin Gates, Warner Brothers. He's a producer. He had a song on the Black Panther soundtrack. Incredible brother, under 30 years old, humble. I mean, just a really, really good dude. We had gotten Uzziah Harris. The car sales expert. I'm like, man, we had him on. We had Corbin Ali from Otis Gear. Otis, O-T-I-S. Listen to this, only the ill survive. We had him on. I'm like, come on, man. We had Marcia Ginyard.
Come on.
Man, from the Fuller Law Group. She dropping that legal business science. Man, what? We had Josh Powell, 2-time NBA champion of the LA Lakers.
Come on.
Are you serious? Come on, what? Man, we had Dr. Travis Page. Man, you talking about business?
Lord, this is Wally Amos, and you are listening to
Uh-oh.
the Daily Bread Radio.
You should've stopped
It's
right
the best.
He should have stopped, man.
I'm not doing I love that promo, man. that was
He should have stopped.
I love that promo, man. Play it again.
Want to hear it again?
Play it again, man. That's Famous Amos, bro. How many people can say they have Famous Amos?
Lord, this is Wally Amos, and you are listening to the Daily Bread Radio. It's the best in radio.
Man, that was but man, we got Dr. Travis Page. Not only is he a dentist, he's an
Hi,
entrepreneur.
my name is Kobe, and you're listening to my papa on the Daily Blood Radio Show.
Come on, man.
Listen to your papa.
Come on, man. That's my grandson. Come on, man. My grandson has been a host 3 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he does not play. They love him too, man. So, who else we had on the show? I want to make sure I missed nobody. We had Beat Monster Mark. We had the Morehouse. Huh?
He almost knocked you out of a job when he came.
I know. He when he came on, he said, I'm the co-host. He the host and I'm the co-host. He's 9 years old. So, but make sure y'all tune in, man. Make sure y'all tell people about it because it's all going to come down, if this show survives or not, it's all going to come down to viewership at the end of the day. It's just viewership, pure and simple. So we believe in divine intervention. We not stressed. I ain't worried about it. The only thing I'm saying is, man, get the word out, bro. Yeah. Just let people know, say, hey, man, it's a good show. The show, it's going to be on TV, man. This ain't no social media, bro. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. This is not no Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channel. Dog, this is sit down, grab your remote and say, clink, clink. Let's see your boy on TV, man, doing the goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? So we got Cortland in, so all right, so I got to call you Justice. So we got Justice in the studio. I ain't doing nothing, man. What's up with this raggedy equipment, man? All right, man. So, and Cortland, like I said, man, brilliant young man. And I don't, people that know me, I don't throw that word around lightly, man. So I wanted to bring him on the show. Like I said, he was a guest on the TV show, but I wanted to bring him on here because here, this is when you come into the chamber. You come in here, man, we chop it up, we talk about whatever we want to talk about, we get the information out to the people. So that way we can do what? Educate, motivate, and elevate. Now, for those of you that are joining the show for the first time, this is your very first time ever being on the podcast, seeing the podcast, hearing about the podcast. We only got one rule, and that one rule is the Daily Bread radio show. We do not do religion. We don't do religion on the Daily Bread radio show. So if your thing is, I'm Baptist, I'm Methodist, I'm Episcopalian, I'm Pentecostal, I'm Buddhist, I'm Hindu, I'm Sikh, hey, we don't do all of that because we only got one thing on the Daily Bread show. You see me do this, that means it's God. That's the only thing that we ascribe to. So you call him what you want to call him, but like we said last week, the great I am. So you ain't got to put no name on that. It's the great I am. I am what I am. Okay, so enough said. So that's all we do. This show is about personal finance. Every week for the last 127 episodes, because this is episode 128. The last 127 shows, we talk about personal finance. We talk about different aspects of personal finance. We've done everything from credit to budgets to savings to debt elimination to insurance to repos to bankruptcies to getting in school to getting out of school to student loan debt to investing to Airbnbs to buying cars to we've done it all. Cooking, invest. We've done it all, and we still going. So our goal is to get to 1,000. What we say?
1,000.
Okay, 1,000 episodes. Because the way we calculate is like this. If we do 1,000 of these shows and if we have 1,000 at bats and we ain't hit a home run and 1,000 at bats, it's over, man. We gonna fold up the tents. We gonna take the lights down. And we say, bro, we need to do something different.
Then we're gonna start playing football. Go for another 1,000.
That's it. But one thing about us, we ain't stopping. Because if we get to 1,000, we ain't did it. We gonna do another 1,000.
Yep.
So it's up to y'all. If y'all want to make it pop, then we need to pop before 1,000. Because if we get to 1,000 episodes and we ain't did it, guess what? We're gonna do another 1,000.
Change the game.
That's it, baby. That's it. And we already doing the show. So then we'll have the TV show, the radio show, and then we gonna have something else. We're gonna be a multimedia mogul kingdom over here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing, and wanted to bring this brother on, man. So you see how he just jumped right in?
Yeah, he just jumped right in.
Start talking. Man,
right
you weren't supposed to start talking, but we'll talk about that off the air. So go and tell people about, man, what you do, man. Who's Cortland, man? Tell them about, man. No. Let's start up at the top, bro. You at the graduation, like the morning before, you was all excited. You was graduating. Like, I'm getting ready to graduate. I'm graduating. I'm gonna be a Morehouse man, and I'm doing this. You doing your thing, right? Your family's there. Everybody's excited. And then you come down. Y'all have y'all famous walk. You come in. You get to your seat. Everybody's doing their thing. They start the initial address. You like, yeah, I'm about to get my degree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what's your degree? What'd you get your degree?
Business administration.
Business administration. I should have known that. I don't know why. I should have known that, man. I'm gonna take some notes on that. But so you get your degree, you're thinking about your degree and everything, then all of a sudden, right? I'm gonna let you fill in the blank. Then all of a sudden, tell us what happened, man.
Angela Bassett walks up to the stage, and my boy goes, "Who, Angela?" And I thought, yeah, that's the vibe. That's the vibe because we were chilling. We were
Right.
chilling that morning because we had finally made it. You know, it takes a lot over in that area. You know how that is.
No doubt.
I mean, shoot,
No
I
doubt.
was just on WSB TV Atlanta just a couple of months prior, talking about carjackings in the area
Right.
because that is a very dangerous area to go to school,
no
to
doubt.
live, to anything. I mean, that's very near the Bluff in Atlanta. So there's a lot of shootings. There's a lot of drugs, but you really learn how to live. You
Right.
learn how to live down there, not only with the community, but you also learn how to bond. It's big. It's big. That was a great morning. That was a great
So
morning.
just kind of walk us through that. So you walk up in there, Angela Bassett, and then so how did the thing go down with Robert Smith, man? Like tell them, because a lot of people heard the story, they read about it. Like students in Morehouse had their student loans paid off.
Alright, so look, this is where I let y'all in on a little bit of a secret. They don't really like me because I tell too much of the truth.
Tell the truth, bro. That's why we brought you on the show.
I know.
Tell the truth. Justice,
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
just ice, just hey, tell the truth, bro.
I'll tell you the truth, right?
Tell the truth, bro. So y'all heard it here on the Daily Bread.
Facts. So before the day even started, right?
Uh-huh.
I said, you know what? Who is our speaker? I was like, who's our convocation speaker? Because I heard Kevin Hart's doing here. I heard this person going here, et cetera, et cetera. The lady who worked at Starbucks.
Right.
She was I think the CIO of Starbucks. She graduated from Spelman, and she was at theirs. I was like, that's hot. So, like, who's our person gonna be, right? And when I saw it was Robert Smith, I said, who's Robert Smith?
Whoa! Maybe you don't need to tell the truth. Like, oh, time out.
The truth's gonna come out. It is
Time out. You might pull that money back. Time out. He didn't mean that. Mr. Smith, I'm
I meant
sorry.
it.
Wait a
I
minute,
meant
man.
it.
Wait a minute, bro. You about to mess it up. Wait a minute. Hey, Mr. Smith,
My
he
bad.
didn't mean that. He didn't
My
mean that.
fault.
He was saying.
I meant it.
Wait a
My
minute. No,
bad.
wait a minute.
I did.
What he meant was what he meant. It kind of when he saw your name, he just had a, you know.
Well, no. So I'm gonna let you know what happened, right?
All right.
So I said put the brakes on it.
Bro, you gonna get a call from Navient tomorrow.
Hey, that's fine.
Navient gonna say, hey, check this out. We had a change. We got a new code that came in, code 182. Like, what that mean?
182.
You owe now. Like, what? So be careful, bro. I don't think the statue is run yet, so you might need to step lightly, bro. So go ahead, tell us. So who is
I'll
Robert
let you know how it
Smith?
happened, right? So I hit Google, as us Gen Zers do.
Right.
And I found out that he was the CEO of Vista Capital.
Right.
I said, oh, okay, he does what I want to do. I want to be a venture capitalist. And so I
Okay.
thought, okay, so this is good news for me because I don't know how much money you make doing that, but apparently it's enough to pay for, it makes you $4 billion. Apparently it's
So you
enough
like,
for that.
hey.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you don't. Look, this is the first time I'm saying this on like in public. I've said it in
Oh.
person, but this is the first time I'm saying it in public. I said, if this man don't pay off my loans, he's coming here to disrespect me.
What? No,
You work-
Portland. No,
you work
man. Man.
$4 billion. And you gonna tell me congratulations for graduating with $250,000 in debt?
Bro, wait a
That's
minute,
what that's
man.
that's
Listen, man.
a
Listen.
black
Listen,
billionaire
man.
is
Hold
gonna
on,
come
man.
to
Hold
a
on,
black
hold on, man. Hold
school
on.
and tell
Hold
these
on. We
black
about to,
boys,
hey, we about to
congratulations.
Hey, man, we about to take you to task now. Cause one thing about the Daily Bread, we don't do what? We don't lie in public. We don't lie in public, so we gonna take you to task. We got a little book
Lie
here.
in public.
We don't lie in public, bro. We got a little
What's
book
the lie?
here.
Just
We got a
point
little
it out.
book here. Go.
Point out the lie.
All right, so
Put the
put
lie.
your hand on that. Wait a minute, man. Get ready.
No,
Get
hold on.
down.
I gotta put my hand on
Put
it.
your hand on that.
I want
Hey,
y'all
bro,
to
take
know.
cover. Get
This is
down.
facts.
Get ready.
This is
now
facts.
say that same part again.
When I read that Robert Smith was the convocation speaker for my graduation,
This the Bible, y'all. Just in case y'all
I
might not
said
have known this.
to
This the Bible.
myself,
You
in
said-
my mind,
In your mind.
if this man comes here with his $4 billion net worth
Uh-huh.
to tell me and my
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Before you say it. Wait a minute. Before you start.
Hundreds
Wait a
of
minute.
brothers.
Wait a minute, bro. Hold on.
hundreds of black young men, as a black man worth $4 billion, was he gonna come and talk to us and say congratulations?
Hold on.
If he came
Oh,
and
wait
he
a
did
minute.
not
Wait.
pay off our loans, but he did take that honorary degree.
Oh, okay.
And he did.
All right, wait a minute.
Say congratulations for
We ain't get
graduating.
blown up,
Then
man.
he just disrespected all of us. He disrespected being black, disrespected the American culture, capitalism, and the whole nine. But he came in and he did it justice.
Well, wait a minute, man. So if you was thinking like that, wait a minute, man. Hold up, bro.
I wanna
This
know
is
what
breaking
you know.
news. Bro, listen, man.
Don't do it, Jay.
Why you didn't say that when we was on TV?
Look, it is what it is.
Oh,
look,
yeah.
it is what it is.
Oh,
Hey, baby, you gotta.
You sitting up on there like this. God. Your episode, guess what? Your episode will not be aired till we reshoot it. How about that? So y'all won't see the Morehouse episode. And we're going to reshoot the Morehouse episode so we can get to this. This the story? Man, why you ain't tell me that before we came out here? Why you tell me
Oh,
now?
hey, hold on now. So now, let me take you to the day.
DK, I'm Mr.
Let me take you to the day of,
This is
right?
what?
The atmosphere.
The
What atmosphere? What happened?
It brings stuff out of people
Brings
when they
stuff
come
out.
in here.
Oh, you think so?
Yes, sir.
Nah, I'm just gonna keep it real. 'Cause
He
that's
just
what I
keeping it
do.
real,
I'm
man.
just
So
keeping
we,
it
all
real.
right, you passed the Bible test. We didn't get struck. So go ahead,
Oh,
man.
no.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
no.
So
God
what
is
happened
with
is, so you was thinking that.
No, we
So
thinking.
okay. So let me say this then. So you thinking this in your mind,
I'm
in your
thinking
own mind.
But I'm thinking, the likelihood of that happening, and then I thought, I could look back and see in the history of convocations, everybody who's gotten their loans paid. I was like, you know what, bro, I ain't go rack my brain on some useless nonsense like that. I'm gonna just go, and I'm enjoying myself. My family's here.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm saying? I work
Okay.
really hard. Shoot, in my personal situation, I only ended up with 118 credit hours instead of 120.
Oh.
And so
Ooh.
I sat there a week after class, and I was looking with my advisor, and I was like, so you were saying we was going to be alright, and he's saying looking alright right now.
Oh, I got the 118. You was thinking about summer
I was
school.
like,
So you thinking about summer school?
No, I wasn't thinking about no summer school. I was thinking, what have I done that we can bridge the gap here? Because it's 2 credit hours. Ain't nobody taking another $4,000, $10,000.
Bridge the gap?
We can
Dog,
bridge
you
the
was
gap.
2 credit hours
2
short.
credit hours. We can bridge the gap. I got all my stuff done. The degree requirements were met.
Bridge what gap, bro? It
All
says
my gen eds were
120.
done.
It says 120. You had 118.
I know. But look. Here's one more.
So you saying you weren't even supposed to get the money?
No, I was.
You weren't supposed to get the
I
bag.
was because I was
You
working.
gonna pay that man back.
Man.
No. I was
They're
working.
gonna Navigant about to call you tomorrow, bro.
Let's see. Let me tell you how I solved it. Right.
All right, go ahead. Let me see how you finessed it. Go ahead.
While I was in my senior year, right,
Uh-huh.
I was blessed to be chosen to represent the Atlanta Association of Insurance Professionals
Okay.
in their National African American Insurance Association
Okay.
case study competition.
Ooh.
They picked out 5 different colleges and had different companies sponsor teams.
Okay.
So I worked directly with Zurich Insurance to
Okay.
develop a case study presentation for this organization.
Right.
And so when I went there, I kind of pitched everything. I had the case was speak to the potential impact of autonomous vehicles in the insurance industry. I don't know nothing about insurance. None of us do. Especially now at Morehouse, we don't have an insurance major.
Y'all
There's
ain't
no
had no
risk
cars
management major
over
over
there.
there.
Talking
Shit,
about
I had a
insurance.
car.
Y'all ain't had no
Get out
car.
of here.
No, y'all ain't had no car no
you
more.
talking about because they get jacked?
I ain't had no car no
Oh,
more.
because we get our cars jacked.
Every time I went around, I just saw all them jokers walking around. I ain't see nobody driving. I ain't had no got no car with no more house, man. Go ahead.
So look, I'm messing with these amazing people, right? And I asked for a mentor while I'm there, right?
Right.
And she says yes. We have a couple of meetings, right? And then she says, look, I'm gonna get some of the best, most astonishing black professionals within the insurance industry to come over to Morehouse, and they're gonna have a conversation with you all. And I said, what are they gonna talk about? I said, just a conversation. So I said, all right, no problem. I pulled up. It was a night of an R&B concert during homecoming, so only 3 students showed up. That was it. 3. 1, 2, 3 of them. That was, I was 30% of the group. You see what I'm saying?
This joke is a nut, man.
But now, see, I did not know that room was filled with VPs, EVPs, the president of the association, 2 past presidents of the association, and people who would later sponsor me for a license as an adjuster.
Okay.
So we had a conversation, right? And they said, you need to get into the
Since you were
insurance
one of the 3 people in the room.
Facts. And I mean, that gives you
we can
all
talk
the
to you.
FaceTime. That gives you all the FaceTime you need, right? And so I said, look, I came from Albany, New York. I was born to a single teenage mother. She did everything that she could do to provide this life for me. I barely made it to Morehouse, and I'm
Barely making it
blessed
out.
to be there.
I'm barely gonna make it out.
He said I'm barely
2
gonna
credit
make it
short.
out.
2 credit hours short.
Shoot, and I said, look, I'm a serial entrepreneur right now. At this point, when I walked into that room, I had already developed an app. I had started a business. I had led several organizations. And so I was like, hey, I'm just going to let you know, this is where I'm at right now. And I don't know where I'm going next week. You know what I'm saying? So what is it about insurance and the insurance industry that should intrigue me? And so they said, well, not only are there jobs, right? You can be a claims professional, you can be an actuary, you can have a bunch of different employee positions that are above average as far as different things that you can find in the workforce, in the marketplace as far as workforce.
Right.
But the bigger thing is that you can be an entrepreneur. And so I was like, I did that. That's what I did. I said, that's what I said. And so I was like,
you was like, do tell.
And so they pointed out, and her name is Rebecca Ratliff. She is the illustrious president of the Atlanta Association of Insurance Professionals right now, and this is her term. She is incredible, the greatest one. So this current president points to a past president, Mr. Ron Thomas, who actually owns the R.S. Thomas Training Associates School down in Atlanta. He has produced most of the licensed insurance professionals of this day and age. So much so that that's all he says. He says, how many people in this room? He'll go into State Farm. He'll go into a Zurich. He'll go into a Liberty Mutual. And he'll say, all of y'all in this room, I don't even know, how many of y'all went through RS training? 40% of them, 60% of them. Me included.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because they have award-winning professors and they're committed to the practice of making sure that people are empowered to go about the next step of their life, to become the influencers, the celebrities, that next step. That's their passion. They want to empower you with the tools to go into the future. So she points to him.
We got 27 minutes, man.
Look, I know who that was.
Can you get to the two?
Get to the point. Get to the point.
All right, now hold on, man. I'm about to go get. Go ahead, keep going.
Wow,
I'm
sorry. My bad. I didn't know a legendary story was boring to you. My fault.
No, I'm just saying.
My fault.
I'm saying we gonna run out of time. We want to get to the punchline, bro.
Boring.
Get to the punchline. You was 2 credit hours short.
Right. So Ron is like, look, man.
Treat this like Shark Tank, bro. Get to the pitch.
You can be an entrepreneur. You can own an agency. So I said, bet. Let's do it.
What I'm gonna do with him?
I said, let me become a commercial lines underwriter within a property or the environmental space. And the only way I'm going to do that is by getting this adjuster's license so I can start adjusting some claims. So the president at that time, she said, you know what? If any one of you wants to get a license, I feel so good about this conversation, I'm going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it. We're going to cover the license. We're going to do it. And she didn't even have authorization to say that. She was actually, she felt it. That was how good that conversation was. And I said, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what the license is. I don't know how it works, but I want one.
And you gonna pay for it.
I don't know how that goes, but I'm gonna get one. So I take another week off of my semester. I stay another week, and I go and I take this pre-licensing course. I go back and forth, do my little woo-woo-wah-wah for my holiday season. I get the license as an adjuster. And before I get back in the semester, I'm like, dang, I get inspired by Patrick Bet-David and his story about being an Iranian immigrant and coming and making it to 9 figures. Right. And so I think, shoot, you can be a life agent too. That's not bad at all. And then I get to see both sides of the business. See, the thing that's different about me and the way that I'm positioned in insurance is that I have a license in property and casualty, which is the adjuster's license. That's one side, the left side, if you will, of insurance. And the right side, if you want to envision it that way, would be the life side, life and health.
Whoa.
And so life and health side of insurance deals more with the financial aspect of what it means to be alive. What are the likelihoods that you might have some sort of a problem with your health or that you might die unexpectedly and all the things in between. They utilize that kind of data to just make financial products. And so within that space, I'm learning more about finance than anything else. And then on the PNC side, I'm learning more about, honestly, architecture and construction, a lot of other different things. So when you talk to people in insurance, most of them are on PNC.
Right.
And so what they're thinking is, oh, okay, so we're going to talk about a property, we're going to talk about a car, liability, those kinds of thought processes. And then if you talk to somebody who's a life agent, usually it's more like, what kind of investments are we talking about? We're now sort of looking to put money away, leverage some of the benefits of being in that side of the business. And so by getting a high-level view of both sides, I positioned myself very, very well in the marketplace leaving college. And when I told all of this to my advisor, she was like, so you got 2 licenses in insurance while in school? Like while I was doing them 20? Yeah, I did that. So she was like, I think that'll work. We put it through. We talked about it. It worked.
That's like some food. What do we call that? That's okay. I'm gonna tell you. All right, that's finesse.
I mean, hey, the
You
state of
finessed it.
Georgia was cool with it.
You finessed
I mean,
it.
the
You
state
finessed
of
it.
the state of Georgia
I mean,
was
hey,
gave it a license.
if the Morehouse counselor said you good, then you good.
And
All
hey,
right.
and here
So
I
now
am.
we fast forward. So now y'all done talked about Angela Bassett,
Facts.
and then Robert Smith comes up. So you sitting out there, you got your cap and
And
gown
so we sitting
on.
out there, right? And we got our cap and gown, and the plan was we was gonna be there early so that before the sun came up, we was gonna be done. That ain't happened. The sun came out, we was all hot. We was all dressed. That's how it happened. I was like, hey, I'm just giving it. You wanted the truth, right?
I want the truth,
You
man.
wanted
Right
the
here
truth, right?
on the Daily
You was-
Bread. You
on
only
the
gonna
Daily
get it.
Bread.
You ain't seen
On
on
the- you got it.
CNN.
No,
you ain't seen on
CNN don't
Channel
got it.
4,
Look,
you ain't seen
CNN
on
don't got it.
WJXT.
MSNBC
You ain't seen
don't
on,
got
you
it.
seen it right
no,
here.
Look. We are in a group chat. All of my brothers and I, we all know each other. Nobody has said this. They all look at me because they're like, what is Justice gonna say next? Because I won't shut up. I won't stop telling the truth.
Look,
It was hot, and we was over it. That was the vibe. And so this man is talking, and he's going, and we're like, this is good information. You're right, good enough. But it goes one step. You know that when a speech goes 1 minute too long?
yeah, kind of.
Exactly. That's how you feeling right now, right?
And it's
my
hot in here, and it's hot, and he's nice, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, we.
Yeah, we was
all
sitting
right.
there. At this point, we was like, yo, what's the point of a degree if I'm gonna get a heat stroke and die right here? You know what I'm saying? So like, we were like, all right, let's wrap it up, right? And so he gets to the end of his tale, and he goes, you know what? Do y'all want to hear something else? I think y'all want to hear something else. So I'm gonna keep talking. Everybody sighed. Like nobody was okay with that.
Like this, like,
it was a big one, right? But when he did that, that was when he went into a pre-prepared speech that led into my family and I are going to create a grant to cover all of your guys' loans. Now, when he said that, everybody kind of was like, still in the days of like you know what I'm saying? And then we were like, wait a minute.
What you just
What?
say?
And I was just like, wait, hold on. And this is what I did. I went, you. It seemed like a couple people was doing something just like that. They were like, wait a minute. And what about the Parent Plus loan? And does that mean? And if you carried it too, like everybody was just like in a state of just utter like, can I get that in writing? Like, can I sign at the bottom? Or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, can I see this? Like, can I get a certificate or something? Like,
That's what I'm talking about. Only on the Daily Bread. Only right here. Only on this show. Anybody else get this? Come on, y'all.
Oh man, even our the president of the Alumni Association, Mr. Cousins, President Cousins, he got up. He was like, "Hey, aren't y'all excited?" And we were like, "I want to be. I just gotta think about it. Right? like let me just think about
Y'all
it
ain't
real
even
quick."
start clapping
Like,
yet. They
we
looking
was
hard.
already stressed. Like the stress was instant. It was like, how we gonna do this? My brother's stressing to this day.
Your brother like,
To
hey,
this
man.
day,
Who?
they are stressing.
They gonna send us a letter? See, that's what I'm saying. What we was just talking about. Mindset. The man said, hey, I'm paying for everybody's student loan. I'm a billionaire. So we gonna get a letter? Or you gonna do? You gonna send me? We gonna
How
get a
long
card?
is
Is
it
it
gonna
gonna come on a debit card or gonna be on a credit card? You gonna send it? You gonna send me a lump sum? You gonna send the money to me first and then I pay? Or instead of just saying, man, for real? So what? Tell me about the for real part. Like when did it hit you? When did it dawn on you? Like, bruh,
All right,
you walking
so,
up
yeah.
out of here with nothing.
That's facts. So the real part for me came when I had the intersection of my serial entrepreneur endeavors and my relationships through the association. So a lot of people were interested in having me work for them because they saw me as good talent.
Right.
I was able to take these concepts, blah blah blah. And so I was thinking I would love to do that, and my original plan was to do that because I know I have to pay this. We did loan counseling. I knew what I was going to have to pay. Like, they made sure I knew what I was going to have to pay. So I was like, dang, I'm going to have to be able to cover this and that and the third. So, I can work it up. I can, work my way to generational wealth by having a job, this, that, and the third. But then when he paid off the loans, I sat back and I was like, dang, I can be broke. And if I can be broke, I can be an entrepreneur. That means unlimited income potential. And if I go that route, then I mean, I just.
Wait a minute. Wait a
you see where I am now.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Wait, man. Wait. Because you jumped from astonishment to the intersection when you made that. Tell that story one more. Say that one more again. 'Cause I don't think they got the
Facts.
what
facts.
we call the crux. I don't think they.
What I
I don't. They
understood-
say it slow.
Yeah.
You know,
Break it down a little bit.
like Denzel said in Philadelphia, right? Denzel said, "Explain it to me, as if I was in the 3rd grade." So say that one.
Okay,
Say
okay.
it one more. And I'm saying this for me, because my audience is very. I'm just saying I'm
Yes.
slow, right? So
Yes.
just kind of
Break that thing down.
break that down for me, just one more time about the job and where you was headed with the job, and then when all your student loan debt got paid off, boop, you went another direction. So just one more time.
I realized that for me personally, I had what I needed to go one of two ways. I could go the secure and the safe route, and I could get a job that wouldn't pay me as much money and wouldn't give me the exposure or the access that I had access to if I otherwise didn't have the job.
Right.
But I would have the security, and I'd be able to pay the bill that I knew I would have forever. Like,
Man, wait a minute, man.
It's not forever.
Man,
but
wait
it's
a minute,
long
man.
time.
Don't make the rest of us depressed,
You know,
man.
I mean, it's a
Oh,
while,
man.
right? And then I thought,
Forever,
oh,
ever.
now
Forever, ever.
I ain't gotta pay that. And if I don't gotta pay that, that means all of my money can go to investing back into myself.
Right.
And if I invest in myself, then I have exponential growth opportunities.
No cap.
And if I can grow exponentially,
Come on.
I will quickly outpace the secure income that I get from a job.
So say that. Say it again. Just in case.
That was what I realized.
Man.
And that's when it really hit me. That's when it really, really hit me.
That's when you was like, no.
It went from being like forced. It went from being forced to do something because I had to do it to having the freedom.
Gordon, man, you making.
to
I'm
choose what
getting.
I
I'm going
wanted.
further and further down, man.
You know what
Just
I'm
keep it
saying?
high level, man. Cause I'm like, dang, man. I'm like, dang, that's historic, man. Do you realize you sitting on here, man, making history?
And how old are you?
Oh, I do.
Man, how old are you,
How
man?
old?
22.
Deuce. 22?
Deuce.
Deuce. You hear what the man said? 22 years old. Let me recap for y'all, because I know sometimes people be multitasking when they're looking at the Daily Bread. This brother is 22 years old. This brother has a degree in business administration from Morehouse College. This brother has a license, property and casualty license. This brother has a claims adjuster license.
Come on.
This brother is a serial entrepreneur. Had his wait a minute. How much was the student loan debt? What was you looking at? What was the number?
Personally or the whole?
What's the whole number, man? The whole enchilada, the whole 9. What was the number, bro?
I
Put
was
the
looking
number
at
in the
about
chat.
$150.
$150,000.
That's a lot of years.
Okay, 100. Let's write that down. 150,000. Put a comma there. $150,000 plus interest. $150,000 plus interest at 22 years old. And I gotta go this route. And guess what? A blessing came down and said, I'll take that. And now he said, you know what? Forget the safe route. I can go and do and be whatever I want to be, however I want to be it. The reason it's important for us to recap that is this. This is a unicorn. You're not gonna see this everywhere, right? This came into my life by talking to one of his colleagues. I haven't, and I felt bad. I hadn't reached back out to Jordan. I need to call Jordan, because Jordan was the one that reached out to me last year. But that was still this year. This year in April. 'Cause I keep saying last year
It'd
was
be
last
like
school
that,
year.
yeah.
It's like, what? Last school year, I reached out to some leaders at Morehouse and said, hey, I do financial literacy. I would love to come to Morehouse and do a seminar on the importance of understanding the basics of financial literacy. Sent them a proposal. They approved the proposal. They had me come in April. So I went over to Morehouse in April, did the seminar. One of the young men that was in the seminar is his colleague, a guy by the name of Jordan Blackwell. Me and Jordan didn't know each other. None of that. Never come into contact with each other. I did the seminar. Fast forward, they graduate. They have all of their student loan debt paid off. One day, in September. I'm just minding my business. Out of the blue, I get a phone call. He said, hey, it's Jordan Blackwell. I'm like, okay. I don't know Jordan Blackwell. I'm like, okay. He said, hey, I was one of the students that was in your seminar back in April. And since that time, I've graduated from Morehouse, and I don't have any student loan debt. And I want to see, would you be willing to teach me more about financial literacy? Because since I don't have any student loan debt, there's some things that I want to do, and I want to make sure that I learn and understand financial literacy since I'm 22 years old and I have no debt. So when he reached out to me, the plan was to have him come on the show, Cortland and 2 other guys. So they sent me 4. He's like, hey, I got 4 people that's gonna come on. They went through, I said, well, why do the podcast? Because I was in the midst of getting my lineup for the TV show that's gonna premiere this Sunday, 9:30 p.m. to 10 o'clock on the AIB network. If you're in Georgia, Comcast 295, AT&T UVerse Channel 6, and if you're outside of Georgia, or if you don't have Comcast or AT&T, you can go to AIBTV.com and stream it. So I said, well, why not have them come on the TV show? And that's how I met Cortland. So the reason I feel honored to have this brother, and we laugh and joke and we talk about things, but the seriousness of the matter is this. That paying off, not only did he pay off, and this is something that I learned after the fact that I know a lot of people didn't get as the story came out. I got it from interviewing them for my TV show. Now the other brother, Jordan, he told his story. Like y'all heard from Cortland, Jordan's story is even deeper. Jordan told the same type of story, but he was saying, hey, he was in the May, he was approaching the May graduation and found out he was 1 credit short. And he ended up, he didn't have the same, grace that happened with Cortland. They told him, you're not going to be able to graduate in the May graduation. You're going to have to go to summer school for 1 credit hour. The announcement is made from Robert Smith saying we're going to pay off all the student loan debt, right? Cortland's right here, so he could be a witness. He said his family went bananas on him. Like, how could you miss that type of blessing? $150,000. Like, what happened? Why you want? He said he went through all of that, went to summer school, took the 1 credit hour. And for people who've been to college, you know what 1 credit hour is? 1 credit hour is like swimming, basket
It's a
weaving.
third of a class. Yeah.
It's the worst. It's like the class. It's like badminton. Like I took badminton. It's 1 credit hour. So imagine his mindset when he was thinking, and his family was thinking, 1 credit hour stood between him and 0 amount of student loan debt and $150,000 worth of student loan debt at 22 years old. So he says he goes to summer school. He's just, I'm not going to use the D word, but he was feeling very down. He felt like he let his family down. He was telling us how hard his father worked 2 jobs the whole time, help him get through Morehouse. He gets to the end of summer school. Then they notify him when he finished the 1 credit hour course. They reached back out to him and said, hey, Robert Smith clarified his gift. And he said, not only will he pay off the graduating class that graduated in May, but he'll also pay off all the student loan debt for any student that graduated in the summer and in the fall of 2019. That's what happened. So having this brother on the Daily Bread, this is his story. Because when that happened, man, that was like the financial, this is like the financial atom bomb. You're not going to see this. This is not going to happen anymore. Even if somebody came back this year and did it, guess what?
It's a copycat.
It's a copycat.
Now
It's not an original,
Yeah,
right? So even if people do it, it's like, I want them to do it. I want more people to, oh yeah, you got it, break them off. I get it. But it's only 1 original. This is one of the originals. This is a unicorn. So I had to have him come on the show so that way, as we go out through our life, and as we doing different things, you never know. And that's what we talk about on the Daily Bread, which is what? Educate, motivate, and elevate. Educate, if you just keep saying that over and over, educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. What does that mean? That means this. The more you learn, the more you believe. Put it this way. If he didn't follow through to even graduate from college, now think about it. It's some guys that went to Morehouse that decided That semester, they decided, I'm gonna take a semester off. I'll come back in the fall.
There was some.
It was some of that. It happens every semester. It was some people that year that say, you know what? I'm gonna take this year off and then I'm gonna reapply and come back in the fall. Right?
You know,
You gotta be in position, man.
Man.
You gotta be in position so when God come in and bless, man.
I mean,
when
that's
you-
real. That's so real. Because, I mean, college does not care about your life.
No,
and
bro.
life keeps going.
Keeps, man.
Every single
Come on,
semester,
man.
I beg
Come
to
on.
leave. Because life kept happening. And I didn't
Wait a
know how
minute,
I was
wait a
going
minute.
to
Did
deal
you hear
with
what he
it.
said? You said every semester you was begging to
I
leave?
didn't want to stay. I found a reason to want to go. And my family just kept saying, tough it out. Tough it out. Just stick through it. I said, I don't know how we're going to pay. I said, I don't know if it's even worth it. I said, I don't know if I'm secure about where what route I'm on. I changed my major at one point. You know what I mean? There were a bunch of different I always had an excuse, but ultimately, I just remember what my uncle said, finish what you start.
That's powerful, that.
150,000 reasons. 150. Not only, and see the thing about it is when I talk to him and Jordan, it ain't even 150,000 reasons. That's part one. How about part two? Think about all of the years of not having student loan debt. He's starting off with an entrepreneur. He said, "There's no cap on what I can earn. I can grow exponentially, outpace all of my peers that got student loan debt. So even if they make it 100, they looking at 150 in student loan debt plus interest. So when he get 30, guess what? No student loan debt. 40,
It's just 30.
Right? 40?
Just 40.
no student loan debt. 50, no student loan debt. 60, I never had student loan debt. So think about all of the opportunities that he's going to be able to take advantage of from one blessing, from just sticking it out. And he was wanting to leave. So I'm saying that's what the Daily Bread is about. It's like, you know, people say, man, how many people watch the show? I was like, I don't know. I don't even care how many people watch the show. Because my theory for 127 episodes was this. I only need one person to hear his story and say, you know what? Something might happen to me. I'm not in college, but I may be getting ready to open up a business. I may be wanting to invest in something. I may be wanting to go back to college. I may be wanting to start my own whatever. So you just hear his story, and it don't have to be like, I ain't in college. That ain't what happened to me. I wish somebody. Nobody don't have to pay your student loan off. But God may plant a seed and give you an idea to do something that will pay your student loan off.
Well, no, man. I mean, the thing here is persevere. Because we're all
Yeah.
going through something. We're
No,
all going through something, and we all have things that are stopping us from being where we want to be. I mean, I walked into my senior year. I didn't tell nobody this till after I graduated because I knew that it might mess up my chances of graduating. I knew that I was going to be 2 credits short, and I didn't know how I was going to handle it. But I knew that I was going to tuck that year out. I knew I was going to do whatever I could do. Any opportunity that I got, I knew I was going to take it. I didn't know that those people was going to show up
Right.
and invite me to get a license. I didn't know that a license was managed by the state, mandated. I didn't know that the school would care that a state license was something that I went through while also going through their coursework. This was not a plan, is ultimately what I'm saying. None of this was laid out. It was
But here's the
just
thing,
a
though.
result of
But here's the
continuing.
thing. And like me and you talked about, you know, you're a younger man than me. But here's the thing, and that whole story that you just told, right? But you still took the step to keep moving forward, not knowing. Like you didn't know. Like I knew you had already calculated. This dude, when I say smart, that's an understatement. I'm talking about brilliant. So when he said he knew, he had already calculated. He knew he was gonna be 2 credit hours short. But guess what? That's when the hustle comes in. That's when you like, I know I ain't gonna have no money in student. I know ain't no money coming for my goddamn student aid, but guess what? I'm gonna go anyway. I'm gonna go to class anyway. I know I'm not registered. I'm gonna go anyway.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, that's that stuff. Oh yeah. Oh yes. If you ain't registered for class, you want to be in that class, boy, you better show up. Let me tell you something.
But that's what I'm saying. You took the step. And that's what I'm saying to people is like, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna know. But if you take the faith step and say, you know what? I don't know where it's gonna come from. I don't know how it's gonna happen. But guess what? You got to take the step so he can meet you. He can't meet you. It's a test. So you can easily say, I'm going to be 2 credit hours short. I might as well not do X, Y, and Z. Nah. Go anyway. Go and show up and be like, hey, man, I'm here. Act like you got 2. Like, what? That's when you act stuff. 2 credit short? No, y'all need to recalculate that. I had a similar story. I didn't get my student loan paid off, but I got to the final. I guess this is a good time to be transparent.
They can't come back and
I got to my final semester in nursing school, and my advisor said, hey, can you come to my mom's? I need to talk to you. I said, okay, that's cool. So I went in and she said, hey, look, you remember when you started and you told me you took anatomy and physiology? I said, yeah, I was a micro major. I took all kinds of sciences. She was like, Joaquin, that's a lie. You know you ain't taking it. And I was like, you right. So I said, so what that means? She said, well, this is what this means. This is my last semester. I'm graduating in May. We having this conversation in January. She said, look, this is what you're going to need to do. She said, I know you're taking 21 credit hours, right? I said, yeah. She said, I know you got a daughter, because somebody told me you already. I said, yeah, I do. I said, matter of fact, I have a daughter and a son right now. She said, okay. I said, because my son was born, well, my son was yet to be born. He was going to be born in spring break. So she said, I know your wife's pregnant. I said, yeah. She said, but here's the deal. You're going to have to take anatomy and physiology, part 1 and part 2, and pass an exam in order for you to graduate in May. I said, ain't no way. I said, oh my gosh. I said, are you serious? She said, yeah, because you lied about it. You said that you took it. I said, well, I thought. She said, don't do it. I said, okay. I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to age myself, but this is a true story. Back then in the 80s, this is early 90s, this is 93, right? Everybody used to have, a lot of people used to have Walkmans. That was the thing back then, Walkman. So what I did was I went to the library, got all of these anatomy and physiology books, and read every system in the body, head to toe. Every system, circulatory, gastrointestinal, everything. All of the organs, all of the bones, all of the muscles, all of the skeleton, everything. I read it into this goddamn tape, a cassette tape. And what I did was I played that cassette tape for 2 months straight, every day, all day. If I was going to the train, if I was going to work, if I was coming to school, I played that tape every single day for 2 months. Passed both tests, went back, gave her the receipt, and she was like, I don't know how you did it, but I don't even care. So I'm saying that to say, listen to this brother's story. This is God, man. That's what we talking about. That's why we don't do the whole religion, and that's God. How else can you explain that? Who else? Nobody in the history of any college has ever, and there's been plenty of people that had the money to do it. Plenty of people had the money to do it because it came out to be somewhere between, they estimate, between $40 and $50 million, right?
Yeah.
This is a billionaire.
Oh no, I worked all that out before I even, like I said, he got $4 billion. I said if we all got, let's say we all got $250,000. I said okay, it's about 300, 400 graduating class, about 40. I think I came up with 37 million. I think I came up with like 37
Did you carry
million.
it too?
I ain't carry no twos. Come on now. I used a calculator. Let's not. We ain't doing too many jokes. I'm trying to be real now. I was like, look now, that is a fraction of your wealth, sir. Like, I mean, look.
See?
I'm grateful.
Only on the daily, and that's why we do the show. So, I mean, hey, make sure this Sunday, y'all check this brother. He's going to be on the upcoming episode of the Daily Bread TV show. It's going to premiere this Sunday night, 9:30 to 10 o'clock. It's coming on right before this new show. It's called She Speaks Live. And She Speaks Live, the host of that show is Nikki Gilbert. And many of you all know Nikki Gilbert from the fame. She was in Brownstone with Kiki Wyatt. But then she went on, she had a show last year, a couple of years ago. It was called R&B Divas. A lot of people look at R&B Divas. She's the host of She Speaks Live. My show is going to come on right before her show. I'm the lead in. They call me the lead in. So I'm the lead in to Nikki Gilbert's show. Now, where did that come from? Right here. Me playing on this, doing the podcast, got my super producer here, got all of you all support me, all of the people sending me texts. And man, I love the show. We did 128 episodes here. We've done 14 So we just did 9 episodes, but before we did the 9, we did 5. So I got to shout out the 5 people that came, the original 5 that came through. You know, Saida Nairobi, got there Lee Baker, my man Devin Coleman out of Florida, got there Antonio Eubanks, and got there, I said Saida, it was one more person I'm missing. I'm gonna get him. Got Lee, Saida, Maya Dukes, Antonio Eubanks, and Lee Baker. That was the 5. That was the original 5. Then we came back and shot another 9. So we've done a total of 14 episodes. So that's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to be, and I just start playing like Cortland. In my mind, I call myself Little Bob Johnson. In my mind. So when my friends are asking me, man, what you gonna do with that show? I'm like, I'm gonna buy the network. My plan is to buy the network in 5 years. So I'm gonna position myself to buy the network in 5 years, and then I'll be just like Bob Johnson, because he laid the footprint. So Oprah got OWN. Outside of OWN, I don't know of any other black network, right? So that's my dream. It's up here, which is cool, but it's a dream. It don't cost me nothing. So I call myself Little Bob Johnson. So he's gonna be on my show. Y'all make sure y'all tune in Sunday and spread the word. I don't really ask nobody for nothing, man. If you know me, that ain't how I operate. But this time I'm saying, man, get the word out. Because the more viewers that we have, the more sponsors that we can have, the more people we can help. And it's all about what? Educate, motivate, elevate. Educate, motivate, elevate. I said elevate. Elevate. Before we leave, because I missed it the last 2 weeks, man, you ain't even tell me. Every week that we do the Daily Bread, we have a book of the week. Now, this is a fitting, based on the actions that have taken place in the last 2 weeks, this is a very fitting book for us to review. And it's called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Escape the 9 to 5, live anywhere, and join the new rich. The new rich. So I would really, really I've read this book multiple times. Somebody picked up my original copy. I had to go back and get a new copy. But this book will give you a lot of insight into how you can manage your life. If you're in a 9 to 5 or you're moving out of a 9 to 5 into a full-time entrepreneur position, this is a great book to have because you can always learn something from books. This is the fastest way to learn something outside of having a mentor. So take some time. Christmas is coming and somebody say, hey, what do you want? Say, man, get me a Barnes & Noble's gift card or Amazon gift card. Start picking up books, okay? So my man here, I'm not gonna mess with Morehouse because he showed us some love today. Shout out to Cortland Mallory, AKA Justice. So I have to call him by his
Government.
What is that, man? Did he just start? Bro, what is that?
I don't know what are you doing over there, man.
What was that, man?
It's celebratory.
Oh, okay. I thought that was something else, man. I'm like, nah, bro, we ain't doing no gang signs and all that on here, man. What is that? I know, man. You doing all this? What's all this? Is that Morehouse?
You're doing too much. No,
is
this
that
is
Morehouse?
No, this is the house.
All right, so I'm gonna do this. This is all y'all. All right, Morehouse, we got
That's the
y'all.
shelter. This is the house. That's the shelter.
I know my Morehouse brothers gonna be like, man, you ain't have to do it. I said, no, come on, man. I love y'all. But man, y'all stay tuned, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in to the Daily Bread. Next week, I want to be on. My producer don't want to be on, so we'll do a replay. Is that what we're doing? So what you gonna do the next week? That's New Year's Eve. We ain't doing that then either.
We ain't worried about that. We worried about Christmas.
We ain't worried about that. Okay, we ain't worried about that. We worried about Christmas. So y'all stay. Hey, have a great holiday. Enjoy your family. Get you some rest. Make sure you tune into the show. Tell as many people as you can to tune into the show because they're gonna really enjoy it. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be bananas. But and y'all have a safe holiday. Enjoy yourself. Love life. Don't let nothing get you down. And keep doing just keep living and let God keep blessing you. Hey, who else got that on the show? I got my own theme music, man. This is the Daily Bread. This is the Daily Bread. This is what's up. Shout out to everybody. Hey, y'all.